Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Live and Hot Commodities. Joining me live, Shy Girl, also known as Tracy Shuchart. I know how to say it now. Tracy, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I had to literally send you a message like, what the heck? I went out for lunch and all heck broke loose in the equity market. What is going on?
I know. So we got to talk about this really quickly before we get into commodities. We had a terrible bond auction, and bonds kind of led that move down in the market. So the market's puked. Now, what we really have to watch here right now, specifically, is that 58.75 strike because there is an outsized number of market participants that have sold that put option, which means that these traders are betting that the S&P 500 is not going to drop below 58.75 by the expiration date. And this is across expirations. And there's a lot today. So you can see they're really trying to defend that area right now, that 58.75. Now, being their short gamma, which means their position becomes increasingly sensitive to downward movements. So if the S&P starts dropping significantly below this, their delta exposure increases, and that's going to lead to huge losses for them. And they're going to either have to buy back those puts, which means they'll be the long puts, or they're going to have to sell the underlying because they're essentially long from 58.75. And so we could get another outsized move if we see a break of this 58.75. So I just wanted you guys to make sure that you kept an eye on this area.
That's great intel. I mean, we literally just wicked through it a few times. Buyers brought us back up above, but we did temporarily probe it or test it. So through that line on my chart, we'll be keeping look at. We'll keep our eyes on that all afternoon. You know, the 20-year auction was not that good. There's 39 billion tendered, only 15 billion accepted by the U.S. with at a I think 41% were accepted at the high yield. So not a really great auction at all. But let's kind of keep moving here because we have a really big mover in platinum today. What happened in platinum? I mean, is this the same stuff or something special? And we're rolling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, same drivers behind platinum that we kind of talked about yesterday. A lot of people, have been short this market because they've been used to shorting that $1,000 area. It's worked out really well. I've been saying, for months we've been, long just under 900, short the 1,000. So there are a lot of shorts in that area. So I think partially this is driven by actual demand. We talked about yesterday, we're seeing an increased demand and not only physical platinum bullion, but also in jewelry as well. And that's in China, Asia, and the United States, which is interesting because mostly it's noted as an industrial metal. And so that demand is there. We do have a deficit of 529,000 troy ounces for this year, which is quite a bit of shortfall. And again, we're just not seeing that EV adoption that people wanted to see, and we're seeing an increase in kind of or a prolonged use of ICE vehicles, which platinum is used for catalytic converters, as well as other renewable projects as well. There's a lot of platinum in wind turbines as well.
Wow. Well, I mean, this is the third day in a row. I don't know if this we'd call these three white soldiers exactly, only because today's bottom wick is a little big, but I'm going to call it that. It's just kind of rolling here. I mean, we crossed over that. I have an old 1064 level here. I'm not sure if that was my level or your level or Pax's level from back in the day. We just blew through it. One interesting thing about today's candle is the body of the candle is pretty big. The wick at the top and the wick at the bottom are also about the same size. So it's like in three segments. What that tells me is sellers couldn't bring us down any further. Buyers couldn't bring us down bring us up any higher. But when the dust settles at the end of the day, it was a definite strong move up here in platinum. Similarly, let's pivot over to silver. Silver's up over 1% as well.
So yes, so silver, again, safe haven, safe haven asset, as well as an industrial asset, and used in electronics, renewable energy. And since we have a persistent supply imbalance, and it looks like we're not going to have this huge global recession, at least so far, that everybody was anticipating, this is also helping kind of keep a floor under silver prices right now.
Yeah, and you can see him. I mean, I have a long-term trend channel here. I mean, we really started getting in there in April 14th. We never closed above it. That's why I kept my top resistance line where it is. Yeah, we kind of gapped up there and then settled back down into it. So every single close pretty much is in this area here. Right now, though, again, we're flirting with the top part of it. This area of resistance, 33.56, give or take a couple ticks. So we'll see if we could close above it, or it's just going to be another probe and then back into the area. You look at the moving averages. I mean, this is as flattest moving averages I've ever seen. 8, 21, 50. Now they're slowly starting to peak up again. Now the stochastics crossed over a couple days ago. So that's a bullish sign as well, in addition to the stuff Tracy was mentioning right there. Intraday, really quickly here, we have Mentor Q 1-day max double top to perfection. Imagine that. Yeah, 1-day max 33 spot 72, framing the top of the conversation. Some of these levels are pretty good, guys. I'm just telling you. We blew through Jacks 2. We're settling pretty just above Jacks 2, 33.50. R2 is up here as a target here. I don't know if we're going to get there at the end of the day. This might be done for today. But in any event, we have been trading above VWAP, most particularly the session VWAP, ever since the initial balance here in the U.S. Tracy, I'd like to pivot to wheat. One of the grain markets, the wheat market, that thing's on the move. And we talked a little bit about it with Jason Shapiro with the commitment of traders data. But wheat also is an interesting market right now.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that today's candle, but we did have some news out of Russia today that helped kind of move this higher. I guess high temperatures and lack of rain coming over the coming months are expected to deplete the harvest in Russia's largest grain region. The local grain lobby group said after a farming emergency was declared in the area. And again, Russia is a huge wheat exporter.
Yeah, so I hear you about the candle. It's a little curious, right? Yesterday's candle was just all about rock and roll, man. There was no small wick at the top, small wick at the bottom, giant green candle, blew through every single moving average on my chart. We have a 8 EMA crossing over the 21 EMA right now. Even the 50, if you squint a little bit, is starting to arc up a little bit as well. Stochastics are just shooting straight up as well. But we do have a big seller's wick on today's candle. This was a pretty big seller's wick, and it's not proportionate, right? The wick at the bottom is really small. So I share your concern, Tracy, there. We've been trading above and below session VWAP all single day. And just to translate to some of to Stowe, we've been trading up and down VWAP all day long in this market. We previous session's high is holding a little bit right now. We'll see if that continues. Well, yeah, we're pretty much done here as well. Tracy, we have to shoot over to one of my favorite markets. We got to shoot over to the Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin. So, that's been bolstered kind of this week in general by legislative developments regarding the Genius Act, which we talked about earlier this week, and aiming to establish federal regulations for stable coins and kind of a more structured approach to that market. And what we saw yesterday is spot Bitcoin ETF saw a net inflow of 329.02 million, making it the fifth consecutive day of positive flows and the most since April. So, and the cumulative net inflow reached 42.77 billion. So we've got strong institutional confidence, and now I think we're getting a little bit of a chase on this market as well.
Yeah, I thought the Genius Act was about the OrderFlow Labs guys. I didn't know it was about the crypto, but just thinking about that. So we have a double tap in every regard you could think of, right? We have this target wick way up here back on January 20th. We pretty much got to it. We might have missed it by a tick or something if you're thinking about the wicks. If you're thinking about how I would draw a rectangle, which I'm sure you guys think about a lot, I'm looking for the closed bodies of candles, right? And so we're kind of in that area that, I'm going to call this area resistance right now. Today's a perfect doji, a total doji candle. And a lot of times when you get a doji on an uptrend, I like to call them turnaround dojis. They don't always work that way, but it's on my radar screen right now. We're at 107, 470. If we get a doji today, tomorrow, I'm thinking turnaround. So I'm not going to be surprised if we get a little bit of a sell-off here in the Bitcoin tomorrow. So keep that in mind as my little indicator tip of the day. Tracy, this was a great hot commodities segment.
All right. Thank you, guys. And I have fun with the OrderFlow Labs, and I'll see you guys in chat.
All right. All right. Thank you, Tracy, AKA Shy Girl. We have OrderFlow Labs in the house. We have Leo and Nick for a tick. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello, hello.
What a day yesterday. Before I pass the baton, I just want to share the results yesterday. We had the 1 day challenge. It was a lot of fun. It took a lot of work on everyone's behalf, and we really appreciate you guys participating in it. And I know you didn't have to, but I wanted to just show the leaderboard and do some shout outs for these folks. Aber was number one with 49,948. Then second place, Big Bag Devin. Trade Futures was third. G Capital fourth. Mr. G, F, I'm sure F4L means something to younger people. Uh, Ganzan Trader, number six. Maddie's Zorro, number seven. Love these names. Egg was number eight. No, we don't know what happened to chicken. Danny Noonan is number nine, and Acme oh 04, number 10. Congratulations, folks. You guys did a great job. There's hundreds of people. I don't even remember the number, but there's hundreds of people participating. You guys did a great job. Featured trader wise, our very own Leo comes in first place with $5,957, and it was a true first place. He did not, and I'll attest to this, he did not double up in different markets. He didn't YOLO it. He was trading his market his way. So it was a terrific showing. Merritt came in second, only $46 apart, but he came in second. I was at least green. Give me that for something. And then Stowe made the biggest comeback I've ever seen in the history of trading. He was down about $18,000 with like an hour and a half left, and he turned it around and almost got green. So terrific job by all you guys, man. Appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, that was fun. We should do it again. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, if we do it again, I will happily throw my hat into the ring and see if I can beat the Shimmer Boy champion here, Mr. Leo the Tiger.
I think it's fun to do it, anonymously where nobody knows who you are, and then it's like a different ball game when, everybody knows what who you are with your name.
It'd be interesting to also hide us, like us have no idea who's actually ahead from our little leaderboard. Except
that would be hilarious.
Folks behind the scenes, like maybe they can share it randomly throughout the day, but we can't see it visibly unless they share it.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Well, yeah, but then where's the spirit of competition there, guys? You're gonna have some I mean, little competitive spirits.
They could hide or show the names just randomly.
Yes.
Okay.
And the chirping back and forth during Power Hour was great engagement. A lot of laughs that I was having seeing you two kind of just talk back and forth as you're inching above each other by $3.
Unbelievable. Anyway,
winning,
fun.
Nick.
It is.
Yeah. There'll be another one. And by the way, folks, keep an eye on that Arena NinjaTrader website because we have them all the time outside of the live stream also. And they're all a little different. The rules are a little different. Me and Shai are pushing for commodities only challenge. And I'm going to be Skyping shy all day long. Should I buy this? Should I sell this? So, yeah.
I'll have to start
Anyway,
trading CL and Palladium.
yeah, Palladium. Anyway, whose screen are we looking at? We got a trade cooking?
Yeah, I'm in a long and ES, kind of off that rotational low that we had there down toward 58.70s. I think Leo's in a long too in NQ.
Yep, I am.
I was eyeballing it in both. Ended up just taking it in ES. So we'll see.
Well,
See if I
here's
can
what
ride this a little
happened.
higher.
Here's what happened. We both got on the meeting, and I was like, "Yeah, Nick, I'm looking for this long down here," and he just followed me, so he's just
Okay.
curtailing my trade.
Of course. That's usually what happens, of course. I'm just following Leo into a trade, not using almost the exact same indicators on different charts and seeing relatively the same setup manifesting on those lows. But okay.
All right, we got to let Jim go because I'm sure he's ready to take a nap.
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting in the middle of this, you guys. So, good luck, man. I'll be watching. I'll be behind the scenes.
Hey, Kane, make sure you send me Venmo, right, for that trade. Just, while we're here.
So where did you get in on NQ? I think you actually had a pretty sniper entry down there.
194. Here, I'll share.
I want to see this pop back up towards 5900s, but so far running out of some steam.
Venmo is illegal in the UK.
Is it really?
You. I don't believe you. That's a lie.
I don't believe that either, but maybe it is.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite trade setups is you get kind of this big counter move. I think a lot of people are looking for this to extend lower. But this was quite the response. So, for me, I'm looking for this to rebid somewhere in here. And we just got this pretty hard push with a little bit of a delta flip with another tool we use called the Dominator. It's basically like a speed of tape study. At the kind of area that I look for. This is a trade sequence that I look for. I'm sure Nick would know that by heart. So that's kind of why I got bullish down here, as well as the balance area low on the higher time frame is around this too. So if we look at, I don't have a higher time frame chart, but if you look at the last 5 days, the lows of that basic range is right around here, 2180. I need to pull up the YouTube stream so I know who's sharing what.
Who are still on your charts? All right. Seller's stepping in here a little bit.
Maybe it will be one of those days where we test lower, but for now, I'll just sit in this trade.
Did you happen to take your opening range mid reoffer after the?
No, man, I wasn't around the desk at that time. I missed it. I was eating lunch.
Yeah, I was just too hesitant to jump back in because that looked like a usual scenario where buyers just kind of step back to the plate and just V us out of whatever downside we actually get. But
well, there was some confluence there with the week open.
Yep.
That's a pretty big area of importance for me. So once it broke, that's kind of double green line. That's kind of, those are both major pivots for me. Everyone wants to know, Macro Nick.
Oh God.
What was the reason for the sell-off today? There's a lot of questions going around.
Well,
please tell us.
As you guys know, I'm a huge macro guy. Probably slightly more than Leo, I guess, but not very much. But at least this reaction came within a few minutes post 20-year auctions. But I don't know. I look at this and yields have been kind of creeping up for the last week or so. So apparently now they matter after that, I guess, pretty poor results on the 20-year. So it just kind of gave us a reason, I guess, near the balance highs, of course, to look for prices a little bit lower.
Shocker.
But yeah, I don't like fading these type of days. I was kind of watching up there, but I wasn't going to pull the trigger on a short, especially leading into an auction, just because it's a great way, even if you're looking for a scalp, to just get stopped out with a normal size and risk. So I usually stay flat around those if I'm going to be even trading around lunchtime. And of course, this is going to come all the way back to my entry now.
It's that auction. A ratings got pulled, or one of the A's got pulled. Yep. For some reason, when these things happen, it's like macro doesn't matter till it does. I understand that. But for most day traders or intraday traders or whatever you want to call yourself, it really doesn't matter. It's just a shift, and the order flow shifted at those eyes. It was pretty dramatic.
Right.
So it's not like, oh, couldn't see that coming.
Yeah. Like we were just talking about as why we kind of entered in this long. It's the same thing on these higher time frame highs. The last 2 weeks of volume all sitting up here, and that reoffer came at a very similar spot. I think it did in the overnight. Was it Monday Globex session?
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
reoffered from 55 or 550s and just kind of melted from there until the open.
Look at that volume profile, though. I mean, I don't want to say it's obvious, but where the distribution is, the top of the range and the bottom of the range.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to that top, you should be cautious. Like, you should be aware that things can change there. And it just so happens the matrix made it so that there was a bad bond auction, while at the same time it was a good price for sellers to sell in this range.
Yep. So the velocity, probably some macro behind it, but the location, not so much.
The A low and J and K high were almost at the same level. Was there really a poor high somewhere?
Was there?
I did not in NQ. Maybe I don't know.
Yes.
You are all gonna get taken by the black van again.
Let's see. I'm
We
not
are
like
just finding reasons to go back down 2,000 to 3,000 points because we hate this rally. That might be the reason it doesn't go down yet. It's the most hated rally of all time.
and since the last one.
Of course.
I mean, I hated this rally.
All right, we're still on Nick's screen. What do you think about an ad here? I think I'm going to.
I mean, I could see it. I would imagine there's still a ton of volume activity. Options a touch lower, like 8 points on ES, but I haven't seen anything further down yet. But who knows? It gets a little slippery. Kind of where you longed. If we go much lower on NQ, you kind of lose that distribution, and then the next one where we really have some volume is back under 21,000.
Yeah, I understand. Not what I wanted to see for sure.
Kane also confirming that he hates this rally.
Oh, I already knew that. I should just pull the trigger and not get stopped out, but
I mean, this is a situation if I get stopped at low, like it doesn't mean we're not going to consolidate and then eventually kind of bounce off this again.
yeah. They're pulling the offer a little bit right here, though. I don't know. I'll just leave it.
I mean, I had like 17 points on this. Probably should have covered.
Ooh, sometimes the right thing to do is nothing. And that's where we are right now. I got in a couple of ads for runners and didn't work out. So I'm going to get stopped there. The problem is like, I actually like this trade still, even though I got, kind of my stop got ran there. So I'm still stalking this thing to get long. Not yet, but I mean, I'm just going to be watching it.
I'm probably gonna get stopped out.
Retesting the lows is not a good sign,
Mm.
but I don't know, we'll see. It's pretty tricky. This is super late, but I'm going to do it.
We'll hit hold on here.
That would be hilarious. Hope.
I doubt it.
All right. That's fun. The real streamer boy is Kane. That's correct. He said it this morning that he is the real streamer boy. So
Streamer boy, we need you.
see. My name doesn't say streamer boy anymore. That's sad.
Yeah, production. I think we need that asterisk streamer boy next to Leo.
Give me this low.
They're gonna get me.
Give it a shot. Just starting small. These are micros, so I'm not particularly worried about taking a couple of stop outs if I need to.
Production says, well, have you earned the title of streamer boy today? And asked
Today?
for likes.
And ask for shouldn't have to ask for likes, production. Nick, that's your job. You're the influencer mode guy.
I mean, I'm not the one with streamer boy on my name tag here. That's
It
you.
doesn't say streamer boy. Oh,
Yes,
now
it
it
does.
does. Okay. All right, we're gonna add a couple of more here.
I
Now
can't
we're
believe
starting
I
to get a
held on
push.
by 2 ticks.
All right, let's go. A hilarious poor low would be a great move for NQ today. We did go from pretty extreme selling to kind of turning us around. Lots of buying come in on the tape. So that's why I added to the trade as we started to push away. We get momentum going in the trade direction. Hey, look at that.
Boom.
So now we're back in this little distribution right here. I'm going to take a couple. I'll just take one. Ooh, I like that. Good thing you didn't give me like the wah, wah, wah when I took that first stop out.
The Price is Right one.
Which one is that?
I don't know exactly how it goes.
Oh, the
Go on.
Price is Right one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like when they're like they go on the bid or whatever and they're over the price. It's kind of like that womp womp kind of sound.
Man, this is a lot like yesterday's trade. We had a low, we came retested it and rallied right out of it. Kind of the same, a little bit of the same area. A little lower.
Just at that balance.
I learned it by winning the challenge. That's known as the sad trombone. Okay. There it is.
Close enough.
All right, we're going to add a couple more here.
Are they going to stop me out after just yep,
Oh,
teasing me with that?
oh.
I still might get back in.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky because they popped that low and just kind of ran it back, and then they did it again, just like a hair lower.
Right.
You'll see that pretty often at lows. They try to, kind of probe the original one a little bit, just like a tick, and then they'll reverse it, just like we're seeing right now.
Yeah, that really wasn't much though. Yeah, I got stopped by like 2 ticks, so that sucks.
Yeah, I just took a couple more off. Just want to see, I want to see momentum, not price to stall as we're pushing away from this. If it's going to be a pretty good low, it kind of needs to happen pretty quick, right? So I added a couple, we pushed down, we kind of probed the low, peeled off some, it came back down again, added a few more, pushed away. This is just kind of how I manage a little bit of a position trade. I'm basically trying to pay for the risk so that I can hold a couple of lots, for free. I'm actually going to go down to 2. I mean, I know I'm trading micros here, but it's pretty much the way I position. Just trying to pay for the risk so that if I get stopped out again, there's nothing to worry about. I mean, there's nothing ever to worry about, but it's a lot easier to hold on to trades if they're already paid for and you have nothing, kind of at risk. You can sit back and relax a little bit.
I took my stop and just ran it. There we go.
Oh,
That's the
poor
Price is Right
Nick.
one. That is the Price is Right. I want
We're
a
having
long.
a hard time getting above this
I know. I've had
area
a
right
good
here.
day. I don't want to give too much back today.
So this is price action Leo, instead of order flow Leo. We have this low. We're having a hard time getting back above it. So I want to see this push away. And another thing that I'll do as far as ads go is if we push away from this, say the 200s, and we come back and retest it, I would add on that retest because then it should be support as its resistance right now.
Did you just draw a line?
I did.
Brand
Straight
lines by
across.
Leo.
Not crayon lines. They're just horizontal lines.
I think that's still a crayon line.
But I mean, this is something that you can do. I mean, you can clearly see, like, we had a low, we broke it. We're having a hard time getting back above it. So when we do, if we do get above it and it gets retested from the upside, it should be support. It's not rocket science.
Kevin, I'm using the default on this chart that's recommended for ES from the lovely statisticians at OFL. So I haven't changed anything for this chart on ES. But sometimes your data, like if whoever your data provider is on the back end, it can look a little different. So
Did you call us statisticians?
yes.
That's pretty generous.
I mean, you guys come up with these. I still have, how many times have I tried to reverse engineer like a way to figure out exactly how some of the pivots are plotted, and I still think I might be close, and then I still get taken to school the following week when it gets printed. I still don't get it. So clearly there's some good mathematicians behind the scenes.
All right. That's what you say.
I
What's
mean,
up, Joel?
We wicked it yesterday in NQ, the weekly pivot, like to the tick. and then ran 150, 60 points off of it.
Mm-hmm. They would be quants. I'm not a quant. I'll just make that clear. Actually, I despise quants. If you're a quant, I'm sorry. There's like a weird hatred. The quants have this weird hatred of retail traders for some reason. I don't understand it, but I get the most hatred from quant types.
Yeah, Leo is my quant as well.
I'm not a quant. You guys can't say that.
You post data. You're basically
That's not a quant.
I mean, that's a
just
higher
data.
standard for a quant than anybody else on X. Actually using data to make a claim? What?
You can't. That's not quant.
I mean, by today's definition on X, that is a quant.
Yes, BW Guns. That's the correct spelling of a quant. KWANT. Kane, I'm not a quant. You can't call me your quant. Should I call myself the diplomat? See, I'm not a quant. I'm a diplomat.
They defend things so well behind the scenes. It's great.
All right, I'm just to reduce this down to 1. They can
Like,
take me out.
If we're gonna break this though, like let's make a nice violent low.
I know that's what I want. Now that they tried, so I got out on that. Now we need to see a flush. There we go.
There it is. That's a little better of a low.
Yay.
Actually. Let's see what happens. All right, now I don't feel as bad getting stopped out on that. I just feel bad not covering it up here.
Try that knife catch this bad boy.
You got the Sunday Globex gap down at 115, not gap down, but that initial move down.
There's some buyers down here. Just need them to show their hand. Nope. All right, we'll wait for a proper setup. I'm not going to try to knife catch this bad boy. Is this what you call over trading? No, it's just trading. You might call it over trading. Depends on your style.
Would you say for the contest yesterday, you overtraded? For the contest, not yourself.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Looking for every corner. I mean, what I'm looking for here is that low got taken out. I want to see some buyers come back in and just look for a little, reverting type of trade back up into the meat of this range here. If we could just continue to push lower, then that'll be a tough trade. But these are kind of playbook scenarios for a day like today. I mean, we can certainly keep going lower, but
I mean,
closing
how many
at the
times do we
lows.
see sellers drop the ball in power hour?
Yeah, a lot.
We got plenty of time to screw this up.
Let's see, what do we have? Yeah, we're definitely below a lot of stuff. And zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, this where it gets a little slippery if the S can't hold 5850s. And on Q, that next area down is like the 900s.
Why not sell a pullback here? I mean, we don't have a pullback. So how can I sell a pullback that we don't have?
Yeah, that kind of was the reaction off the 20-year auction too. I was like looking for something of a rebid that I could offer, and there kind of was like no opportunity. You just had to close your eyes and sell it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. See what we got. So we have this. Fail, like this is a pattern I look for right here. But anyways, this failed right above last week's high. We reoffered the mid. We broke this low, so now testing lower. And the reason I'm looking for a trade to get us, for a bullish trade is basically looking for this range to kind of stay intact, somewhere up here. That would be my target.
Dio just reminded us that your M period stat is now in play.
Uh-oh. When a pullback appears. Yeah, I think that's generally like a great idea, but it's very, very tricky in the late afternoon, some of these late afternoon dumps, is that rally, that end of day rally can and very often does come into play. So it's just I'm not really looking to short this thing for continuation at the moment. You have trouble in these situations? If you have a situation that brings trouble, then you should just not do anything. You should observe that you are troubled in these spots and then just watch and don't take a trade. Kind of tempted to take a stab at it here. Seeing a little bit of just bid side, just taking some fills. I'll try a couple.
Can you take
Oh,
me
boy.
higher?
There's Stowe. If you're missing Stowe, you can just come on the NinjaTrader show and they'll play him for you.
Let's see. Mm-mm.
Well, let's peel one off here around 30 points. I do like to let these types of trades get a little momentum behind them. But as soon as we start to stall just a hair, I'll take one of these trades off. Right about now. You like that, huh? Little 30 points to pay for that. So if this trade, doesn't work, that's 13 point stop. I've already covered 30. So more than paid for it. And I'm not trying to get super bullish or catch this knife, but just kind of what I described, happens pretty frequently on a kind of a surprise bear move or reversal, like intraday reversal. They tend to, find their way back into the middle of the range. And so that's the trade I'm looking for. If we were in a different scenario where it was like, the open had an open drive down, we're selling, pretty much there's tons of sell pressure in the day itself. That's a day where I'd look for continuation because it wasn't really a surprise, for the market or the market participants that, the day was going in one direction and then just all of a sudden reversed. So it's more about day type, I guess, for me than anything else, and just kind of being aware that yes, there's tons of selling. It's, it's more emotional and positional based than anything else versus a day that just kind of grinds down and, every pullback is getting sold. So that's kind of the reason, some folks were saying like, why not get short for a pullback? Well, a lot of the days that happen that set up like this, they end up going back into the range, not continuing. I guess that's what I've noticed. Today was different. Yes. It was different because the move was kind of a surprise. There was a reversal on the day, catches people off guard. And so some of those reactions are a little more violent in both directions, right? The continuation, like this move, this is kind of a emotional push lower. Versus if the day was just going lower, all day, then that's kind of like, that's a trend on the day. This is a reversal, like a market reversal intraday. Also, expiration today. Tracy says.
Yep. And the VIX got out of bed with this move. Out of its hole. Hopefully to not just lull us into summer trading like it was looking like.
So yeah, I mean, you could have sold this as a pullback for continuation short, and I'm sure it would work a lot. But that's just not what I'm looking for today. Yesterday was similar. Yeah, for sure. We had kind of the same situation. Frank, these are micros. I'm not trading minis on this type of a day in the afternoon. Trying to keep it friendly. Hey, you're welcome, Kevin.
I just hate shorting lows during power hour.
Yeah, it's not an easy game. Not an easy game.
I've just seen this movie so many times. Yeah, every once in a while we close on the lows, but I would say more often than not that never happens, as we remember from yesterday.
Do we have enough likes, chat? The thing is if you guys don't like this, we just can't. They won't invite us back.
Well,
Is that your strategy? Is that your strategy, chat?
Leo's probably getting invited back, but Stowe and I are going to be locked on stream forever. We're never allowed to go back outside.
There's 500 of you watching. You only can give us 100 likes.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
You don't want us to come back. That's what I read into that.
Thanks,
You
Kane.
unliked. Thank you, Kane.
Kane wants me to be stuck in a room all day.
Man.
They're forcing Stowe into 24-hour streaming.
I can't imagine. I might add to this trade down here. I add a couple. It's kind of a little early, premature maybe, but we're gonna jump the gun. Not really seeing anything that stands out from an overflow perspective. Just more like we have this little impulsive push, retesting that generally is a trade that I'll take. Just kind of like it's this same trade, just on a smaller time frame.
Yeah, it's basically stuck at last week's value area low.
I like to hear that. That should be support for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a limit order sitting right there right now. I just want to see if it's going to get tagged.
Seeing a little, get that flip in delta here, and then Q. Just wanted to say that for you, Kane. You know, picking up the lingo.
They're not going to fill me, are they?
There you go. Hey, Nick, here's how you get a fill.
I
Promise.
don't
It
want
works
to hear
every
about
time.
IPs with market orders.
It works every time, Nick. Market orders. You got your chance. You gonna take it?
Well, I'm going to get filled the limit here in a second.
I'm just gonna bait Nick into this trade. Now that it's
Wrong.
reversing so hard against me.
It's literally going to run me over as soon as I enter. New lows, probably.
Puke. Do I get saved? Is this where I get? Are they gonna? They're gonna hold it right here? No way. No way.
No, they're coming back for you. And then they're going to moon it.
Mm.
Stopped.
All right, I got out. Got out. The view up in the delta flip. It's an awesome combo.
Having Nick do market orders is like having Leo show up without a hat. It ain't happening. Fairly accurate.
All right, we're getting back in this. This is too good of a trade not to miss out on. Well. Had a little momentum to the upside. Maybe we're getting it back. But like I said earlier, I want to see this push away or I'm going to start bailing.
They're going to dump the really dump this. 100 points lower.
I'm getting out of two of them. Just trying to scratch out of a couple. I just want to see what I want to see more activity here before I change my opinion and get, even though they're micros, it's not a big deal, but I'm just trying to get more information before I put any additional risk on. The buyers are the sellers earlier. Yeah. Kane, when you were streaming, there were some sellers, man, on the tape pretty hard this morning. They get completely run over.
I mean, if you're going to puke this, just puke at 100 points.
I mean, that's what needs to happen. The more we spend down here with all this negative delta, the better it is for the long side. But it needs to push away first before I add any additional risk on this trade. Or stop me out. That's fine. So many. The chat really does not want me to get long. So they're really, really upset about the fact that I'm looking for longs right here.
I mean, I would love to short the lows live on stream, but then everyone would call me an idiot if it didn't work.
They'd be like, why did you get long, Nick?
Yeah, why are you shorting?
Clearly it's going up.
I always love that because it's like such a momentum trade that rarely happens. But it's not my game. I'm not that great of that kind of trader. It's just never been my style. But I do see if there definitely is momentum another 80, 90 points lower from here. So it's very possible it could work out. But I could also see it rip 200, 300 points in the opposite direction at any time. You guys don't have 110, 101% win rate. I mean, Leo might, but he's ruining that average right now.
You don't have 101% win rate, Nick?
No.
Who are you? I'm not going to take this long because the chat won't let me. So, if this goes up, sorry, we're going to miss it. We're going to miss it together as a group. And we're just going to watch it. I want you to know this is a long I would have taken 100 times out of 1,000 times, or 100 times out of 100 times if, I'm just sitting at my desk trading. But we're not going to take it.
It's gone.
You tell me what to do, chat. I have 100% win rate. Feels good, man, for sure. You went long. Good job, Fly. I'm sure you scaled off a little bit as we pushed into those 120s. Full send it. I love it.
That's how it felt watching XY and Stowe yesterday during Power Hour. As soon as we bounced off the week open, it just was full send.
That was crazy. I was in there because, I was just like, Merritt, I knew was going to try to pull some stuff. So I had to build up a little more P&L. So that's where I got pretty giddy about that same trade. You've been fading us? Great. That's good. I'm glad you're able to do that for free.
There's nothing wrong with fading us.
Just wait for the 50 algo.
I mean, it's worked. It worked yesterday. It worked last week a few times.
Mm-hmm.
We got M period here in 30 seconds. Let's see what the turn brings.
You know what I need to find out? I need to find out when those hats are coming in. Let's see.
Maybe Leo will actually send some out if everybody hits like. Seeing some buyers continuing to step in here on ES.
what he says.
Nope. There
Look
we
at
go. That wanted
Look
us
at
to
that.
stop longing.
Stop longing, guys. Stop it. Just get short.
I just can't shorten the hole. Just can't do it. This is why.
Stat
I mean,
failed yesterday
realistically,
too.
this is just not. In this situation, I'm flat in my personal. I'm probably not touching this. After this kind of move towards the end of the day, trying to knife catch this is probably a fool's errand in itself. But
Well, I guess I would have to differ with you a little bit there. It is a fool's errand if you're trying to get oversized or too big.
fair,
If you start a small position with 10, 20% of your normal size, and then you're able to add to it responsibly, or just maybe it's just a small trade because you have no, not a high level of confidence, but the risk to reward is worth, putting a 2 or 3 lots on, because you're going to try to let those 2 or 3 lots go for much farther than you
right,
normally would, right? So in all practicality, like it's a really good risk to reward to be long some of these counter rotations and then just see, hold a couple to see if you can't, get a pretty big move, right? That's the idea. That's the whole reason that I was looking for these longs, is because the risk to reward to go back to the upside, and happens more often than not, is much higher than looking for like a trend continuation type of short
sure,
on a pullback. The problem is that you see this opportunity where you can visualize, right, where are we most likely to kind of close the day? Are we going to close it at the lows? That's not a situation that happens very frequently, right? And so, yeah, we have a reversal on the day. Everything is down, but more often than not, we'll get these counter rotations into the close that take us back to the volume, take us where most of the the business was done on that session. And so that's the trade I'm looking for. The problem is that when people try to knife catch, not bottom ticket, but just looking for some of these counter rotations, is they get, basically they see how much potential that trade has, and they try to oversize or they try to hold unnatural, size trades or whatever it might be. And that's how you get run over. You don't get run over by putting 10% of your normal position on and then have a strategy to add. You don't get run over by your, taking a very small part of a trade, and because you see that opportunity, obviously realizing that it's kind of a precarious situation, but the risk to reward is there. You just don't have to take it on, your standard full size. That's it. You're not supposed to full port. No. But I see people do this all the time. We have these liquidations, they're full porting because they see, the range is not hard. You don't, and the fact is that we see these reversals, back into the bulk of the range all the time. So no, it's not a bad trade. It's not a bad idea to look for that counter trade. The bad idea is how you actually get into the trade and manage it. Hard to find stop levels. You don't need a stop level. You put okay, this is where I start to get pretty furious when people are like, oh, well, you have to put your stop at a swing low. What do you mean? You put your stop where your risk needs to be. The market, yes, you can from time to time put your stop at a logical place where the market tells you you're wrong, but also you're wrong when your risk is done. If you're like, I'm going to risk, 15 points on 3 contracts, that's where you're wrong once it goes below 15 points. Why am I yelling? I don't know.
Why are you yelling at me?
I don't know. I'm not yelling at you, Nick. Just passionate.
Just letting you roll, sir.
What are you calling the bottom of the range? I'm not calling the bottom of the range. I'm just saying that a lot of people will say, I have to put my stop at the, if you're long here, let's just say, for example, I get long here at this line. A lot of people will be like, oh, well, I need to put my stop right here. No, you don't. You put your stop where your risk is done, right? If I'm risking 15 points on 3 lots, the trade is over here, right? Now, if you need the market to tell you that you're wrong and you have to put your stop here, well, then you cannot enter the position until your 15 point stop out based on your risk for your account is where it needs to be so that you can put your stop there. That's it.
I mean, also at NQ, I mean, we kind of bounced off last week's value area low, slightly above it, but that last little bit of volume from last week's range.
Kane, I will not repeat it for you, but you can go rewind it. Stop trolling. Gary got in there with some longs. Great.
Nice.
Many traders preach a structural stop. Go listen to them.
I mean, there's situations for either. It just kind of depends on the trade, the location.
Yes,
the
but
day,
okay,
size.
I 100% agree with you. But if you cannot put your stop, if you're saying the structure, the market structure, is 20 points below where you're long at, but you can only risk 10 points based on your account size and your sizing, then you can't. I mean, yeah, you can say put your risk where the structure is all day long, but if you can't get an entry close enough to that trade, then you can't get in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's where I think it comes. Like you're better off being flat if you can't manage, I guess, your risk in that situation with a location, with the with your sizing, etc. Like that's where it's just like you're probably better off just not hitting a button at that point.
Exactly.
Waiting to see how things evolve from there. Maybe it does give you a better entry, or you miss it and you don't beat yourself about it.
Leo's passion has his face blending in with NinjaTrader's background. That's funny. My stop is the auto liquidation, right? This is the story of my life. I'm not trying to get on here and get on a soapbox, but somehow, for some reason, it happened. So I apologize. Nick is very awkwardly just sitting here.
I mean, I could just start talking about the little bit I know about options and just keep him going.
Gamma.
We'll just bring up the G word. I'm a good boy. I'm not going to do that. I think one rant for Power Hour is enough for today.
One rant. That's enough. Well, I would have loved to have been long here so we could talk about that. But you guys told me I wasn't allowed to. So the chat is wrong.
And now we're probably going to rotate.
Once again.
We're probably going to rotate back up towards overnight low, aren't we?
For sure. I mean, that's what I would be targeting is right up here in this. Look at this distribution. Look where the volume is right here at this is where I would be looking to rotate back to.
Always fade the chat.
Fly in there. Are you still long?
Yeah, someone caught.
I'm going to live vicariously through Fly. L period new low. We made I mean, the momentum at that moment in time when we, right before the turn was just obviously to the other side. We need more likes. The rant definitely deserves at least another 50 likes. Come on.
I'm surprised we didn't lose likes after that.
Kane says the reality is the chat are wrong a lot, and it's annoying to be told over and over your trading style sucks in front of 500 people. I couldn't agree more. Maybe that's why I'm so annoyed, is because I was watching Kane's stream this morning. Kane is a solid trader. Um, he gets on every Wednesday and just goes through his process, and it's just like, for whatever reason, folks want to just tell him he's doing something wrong. And I don't know, like it's tough when you're trying to take the trades that you would normally take without making like kind of a dumb mistake. We all make mistakes, but our screens are on and yours aren't. Traders trying to get their own Ninja Live show. Yeah, I mean, I don't care being thrown off my game. I'm not trying to sit here and trade for size on YouTube. That's not what I personally am about. But I do want to talk through some of my process and how I might trade on a session, and that's why I'm here.
Come on, man, win limbo.
As soon as my wife will stop dropping babies, not dropping babies. That was probably worded wrong. Producing little ones, then maybe I'll get a Lambo.
Takes two to tango, sir.
Who is Kane? I don't know what you're talking about, Nick. She told me it just happened. Look at that level right here.
I mean,
it's still producing. And we talked about it an hour ago, and look.
See, cran lines do work.
That's not a cran line, Nick. That's a horizontal
cran
line.
Lines do work.
That's not a cran line.
Why did you draw that again? Remind the chat. We had about another 100 plus people join us.
Sport cars are for little guys. Get a vasectomy. I will. She's gonna get the tubes done. She had breast cancer 3 years ago, and we've been on the fence about if we were gonna have another one or not. That decision was made for us, and but her doctor's been on her case about that, because if you have breast cancer, that puts you at a higher risk for ovarian cancer. So they're gonna go ahead and do the some of that stuff at the same time as the little ones are. The little ones out.
You guys are due pretty soon, aren't you?
Yeah, her scheduled C-section is June 28th.
Gosh, right around the corner.
Thank you, Marcus Sniper. Does she not do that on her own? Fair enough. Kane got a nice piece of the short. What's funny is I was looking on the daily, and like on a I was looking at my 60-minute view, but just kind of looking at the daily the daily sessions, and I was looking at we're just above kind of the balance area. I was like, somebody's looking for a short trade here, and Kane was the first person that popped into my mind. Like, I bet he's on this mug. Where can you find those indicators? They're OrderFlow Labs.
Really wish I was long, chat. Totally kidding. I could have pulled the trigger and gotten back in.
What happened to me is that last night maybe it was when I was shut down my NinjaTrader from yesterday after beating Merit. I just had to say that. is
Can't wait for the next challenge.
is when I closed my chart instead of the NinjaTrader, and I lost my primary execution chart. So I had to
Oh, no.
reload it from sharing it with somebody else.
Yeah, that's why that was why I think I sent you the Ninja script to my Sunday charts. I was like, I spent so much time building these long time frame charts for everybody.
You
I'm like,
gotta
I
save
do not
them
want to
somewhere.
lose these. I sent you the script, so at least somebody
Yeah.
else has the finished version.
Nice trade, Kane. What happened right before you lost the chart? See, Lucas is trying to bait me into more of the trash talk. It was fun. We had a good time. I'm sure he was having fun with it too. Doing the Rocky 2 montage. What time is algo time? It's in 4 minutes.
Don't worry, Kane will tell us when it's
Kane's
out.
gonna let us know. Yep.
Are they going to reoffer from this spot?
I mean, so far they are.
It's looking a little higher.
Same line I've been drawing. Same one.
I wanted that little nook in between 220s and 210s. Nope.
The BGL. People love the BGL.
I mean, it weirdly is a decent indicator to just keep you on the right side of trend sometimes.
What is algo time? It's 3:50 Eastern or 2:50 Central. Kane just gets on the YouTube so he can listen to himself say it's algo time. And it just got freezing cold in my office for some reason. I'm like shivering.
You need more lights, apparently. It's like a sweat box in mine. I still have 2 golden retrievers like sleeping under me, just probably breathing heavily. So it's probably adding to the heat in here.
Mm.
They love to wake my baby up, so now they are forever banished to my office for the entire day.
So I have a, let's see, she's 5, little puppy. She barks anytime there's a movement around the house.
Yep.
So I'll come downstairs from the office and she will start barking at me from like, she'll be on the other side of the house in a bedroom somewhere. She'll hear me come down the stairs and she'll just start yapping at me. I'm like, there's no way that we're going to be able to have an infant with her barking like this. So I got one of those collars, just so basically I keep it with me now. And so anytime I come downstairs, I'm ready. And I just use it's got the vibration part, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't use the shock part. And it's just not working, man. She doesn't even care.
Yeah, ours
Get rid of that dog. I want to get rid of the dog. I'm not a dog person, but my wife is. Even my son wants to get rid of it because he wants a hamster. I'm like, yes, let's get rid of the dog. I'll buy you 2 hamsters, bud. Turn it up to 10. No, I can't. I do. The vibration part is up to 10. I can't do the shock thing. Get rid of the wife. That's but that doesn't really solve the dog problem, Kane, if I get rid of the wife. I love dogs. I just don't want to take care of one. I don't like cats either.
I will say this, like I'm a huge dog person. I love my dogs. Having a newborn and having 2 golden retrievers.
Attention traders, it's algo time.
Algo time.
There's the algo.
There it goes.
But being a new parent, having dogs is easily the most overstimulating part of it. I will say that. It's not the baby.
Hey, my dog, Kevin, won't be lost if you just come pick it up. Who's that sexy voice? I know who that sexy voice is. I listened to him trade the open this morning. Eddie, can you give me an example of what MGI is? Market generated information. So this overnight low here, it's market generated. So it's just basically like areas of interest that are given from the market.
Yep. Use those a lot.
I know he addressed you specifically, but I just thought I'd answer for you.
Yeah, uses a lot. It's just like good free indicators that the market's just telling you, whether it's the previous day close, the weekly open, just things that you can have on your chart that the market tends to have reactions at.
Yeah. I mean, the overnight high or the overnight low, it has like a 99% of the time, one of those levels will get traded. Let's see. My hats have a ship date of 6/13. So there you go. 6/13, we're going to have gray and black. Not even sure how I'm going to get them shipped out to people because I don't really know how to do shipping stuff, but we'll figure it out.
You need an intern or something.
Nick, do you want to be the hat
I'm
intern?
not your intern.
Well, you said it. I just thought you were kind of fishing for a job.
I'm good. I'm doing great. I've got enough work on my hands.
Kane is going to buy the hats and sell them for double. Little did you know, Kane, I'm marking them up double. Make your dog walk them across the country. How do you get involved with the levels? Knowing them is one thing, trading them is another. Well, I can give you a great example of something that I, discuss quite frequently. Is I just said the overnight high low gets tagged about 100% of the time, like if you look at any time frame. And so if you have a trade where you're looking for a long or a short and you're just near that area, the way you use the level is you just go, okay, we're really close to that overnight low. And we haven't traded the overnight high yet. And so I'm not going to look for a long until that overnight low gets taken out. That's one example, but it's just an area of interest to watch from an order flow perspective, what happens there. I'm not just automatically taking a trade or doing anything, but the context of, combining those levels with statistics is really powerful because it can also keep you out of a bad trade.
No, neither one of us is in a trade right now. Both got stopped a little early trying to catch the bottom. And
well, the chat told me not to get long right here.
They did.
So I listened to them.
The chat wanted us to short the lows.
I don't use any cumulative volume delta at all. I look at delta by price. So this is a leg right here from this high to now, as we push, we're seeing the deltas come in at price. And so that tells me not only what deltas are being put in, but where it's happening at, vertically up and down, because that's how price is, moves. Cumulative volume delta can be very misleading because, it can be significantly red and the market can go higher. And so that's absorption. But where did that absorption occur? You don't really know because it's all basically accumulating over time.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Jim.
Well, that was fun.
Jim, have you always worn a necklace? Somebody just said they feel like they're just noticing. Your necklace.
It's
For some
my
reason,
Saint.
Jim, every time we get on together, they're always looking at your neck, right? Because last time it was about your button, like the double button.
I don't know. I mean, I have a very muscular, I don't know, neck, I guess.
The chat just loves Jim's neck.
This is my Saint Christopher, man. I wear my Saint Christopher, the Christ bearer, they called him. I
Yeah.
won't go into get into that. Me and Pax talk about that, but um, a couple of things I just wanted to comment. Good job today. You know, the stop thing in my mind, I'll just give you my opinion on stops. The stop thing in my mind is the area for me, the area where I'm going to admit I'm wrong. I'm directionally incorrect. And
Yeah.
I have that in my head beforehand, right?
Yeah.
I know where that is.
Yep.
And part two of that is don't change it in the
Yeah.
middle, in the midstream, right? So
Right.
it's, hey, you're going to admit you're wrong at some point. You have to, right?
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
I guess what I was saying is you can be wrong where your risk is no longer tolerable too.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to take any more heat on this trade for whatever reason. Yeah, I'm with you, man. The second thing I wanted to tell everybody was when Tracy puts out a number, she doesn't often do it. But when she puts out a number like 58.75 chat, when you're thinking about buying a low, you know, it's not trade advice, but I'm just saying, she's been around. She knows what's going on. And she had a great commentary on hot commodities. And we bounced off that bottom all the way up to 58.75. I'm just saying.
That's a sick call. I didn't get a chance to even read the chat. I was just busy
Yeah,
ranting.
she had it in the chat, and she talked about it on hot commodities. She explained about the options positions there. So that's the Jim Cagnina Crime Stopper tip of the day right here. Listen to
Thanks,
Tracy.
Jim. Pay attention when Tracy talks.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so lucky. Any event, wow. Well, we'll see where we end up here. We still got what, a couple minutes?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Boogie Nights. Solo. Come on. Oh my God. Firmament. Never trade shy. That's for sure. That's for sure. Bonds are like just fell out of bed. Down almost two handles. A handle and 2/3.
Unfortunately for you guys, I'll be back tomorrow, Jim.
Unfortunately, what do you mean? We love
Back
having
to
you, man.
back. Back to back.
That's good. Tomorrow for the afternoon, right?
The afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be
Tomorrow morning.
well,
I don't know who's here tomorrow morning. Tanya? No.
So-
Christian. Trading boxes. Christian's going to
Yeah,
be here tomorrow
nice.
morning. He's a good guy.
That's all NQ just literally stopped trading for a second, it looked like. It just
Yeah, we're like just
hung
pinned
out.
right here.
75.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get some unplanned news from the Rose Garden this afternoon. Pop this thing back up.
We got another. I do love that in the past, like that's not something that makes it to on like Financial Juice or on the squawks when he's going to be stepping up to a mic, but now it is. So it's something, and it's like every day you just got to, and you have to be just roughly know when that's going to be. And then it could still be an hour and a half later that it says.
That's right. That's right. Oh my God. Yeah, the MOC and balance in the cash side was pretty positive. S&P 649 million. NASI 413 million. Theo G says, hello, Jim from Chicago. Theo, how is my old stopping grounds, man? Oh, there we go. Mm,
Alrighty.
this does not bode well for tomorrow. But tomorrow's another day, everybody. What do we have economic news wise? Let's go to my econo day. Probably not a lot.
This whole week was pretty light.
Yeah. What is tomorrow? Wednesday or Thursday? Tomorrow's Thursday already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We do have a
jobless
10-year auction
claims.
tomorrow after today. That could be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. 10-year auction. That's going to be a big one. The jobless claims at 8:30, existing home sales at 10 o'clock, and in between their PMI composite flash. So we're going to get some economic data tomorrow for sure. So be careful. And by the way, you guys, I listen to your dog conversation too. So I'm literally rescuing a dog this weekend from Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, really?
Do you want to stop by and grab mine on the way?
More the merrier, for sure. I don't know if it's on the way, though. I don't know if it's on the way, but we're driving back. We're flying there, driving back, and bringing this dog back who needs a home. So
That's awesome,
we
man. That is
we named one of
awesome.
our golden retrievers after Zona. Is his name. So
this dog already has a name, Napoleon.
that's a great name.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic name.
Anyway. All right, you guys. Thanks again for all your help. It's been fantastic. You guys are awesome. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, Leo. And then I guess, Nick, I probably won't see you till next week then, right?
Yeah, I won't be back until next Wednesday. Now that I think about it, since we are going to be off for Memorial Day.
All right. Well, you have a great you have a great long weekend, Nick.
Thank you, sir.
And Leo, I'll talk to you tomorrow. In the meantime, folks, thanks for being here. I do want to thank everybody in the community for being here with us at NinjaTrader Live. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start 8 a.m. East Coast time. Me, Delia, Shy. We have a whole cast of characters. We have Peter Atwater as a special guest tomorrow morning, early. So show up at 8 o'clock. Hope to see you then. Meantime, most important message, please be safe out there. Be good to each other. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Jim.